Hello, this is Brandon Ivey, Global Power with Shopping Sherlock, and here is another article for e-commerce news. This is titled from CNBC, A Tsunami of Store Closings Expected to Hit Retail. Let's read this and see why. Get ready for the next era in retail, one that will be characterized by far fewer shops and smaller stores. On Tuesday, Sears said that it will shutter its flagship store in downtown Chicago in April. It's the latest of about 300 store closures in the U.S. that Sears has made since 2010. The news follows announcements earlier this month of multiple store closings from major department stores JCPenney and Macy's. Further signs of cuts in the industry came Wednesday when Target said that it will eliminate 475 jobs worldwide, including some at its Minnesota headquarters, and not fill 700 empty positions. If you're reading this, you would think that the economy is tanking right now, right? That these stores are going out of business. People are losing their jobs. Only thing that's true about this is that people are losing their jobs. The economy is not tanking, and these stores and these companies are not going out of business. Let's keep on reading here. Experts said these headlines are only the tip of the iceberg for the industry, which is set to undergo a multi-year period of shuttering stores and trimming square footage. Shoppers will likely see an average decrease in overall retail square footage of between 1/3 and 1/2 within the next 5 to 10 years. As a shift to e-commerce brings it fewer mall visits and a lesser need to keep inventory stocked in store, said Michael Burden, a principal with Excess Space Rental Services. I believe we're going to hear a lot more announcements in the coming months, Burden said. It's an indication that there's a shift. What do I say all the time? Right now, we are undergoing the greatest economic shift in wealth in our history. And what does this article say? It's an indication that there is a shift in the retail environment, and it's one that will continue. January is typically a busy month for retailers to announce store closings. According to the International Council of Shopping Centers, 44% of annual store closings announced since 2010 have occurred in the first quarter. But this year's closings are likely indicative of a new trend, sparked by more and more shoppers turning to the web, experts said. This holiday, online spending increased by 10% on desktop devices, a number that will likely grow another 2% points when factoring in the role of mobile devices, according to data tracker ComScore. Paired with a compressed holiday shopping calendar and a spate of freezing weather across much of the U.S., online shopping contributed to a nearly 15% decline in foot traffic this past holiday season, according to ShopperTrack. Stores are making a long-term bet on technology, said Belus Capital Advisors analyst Brian Solzi. It simply doesn't make strategic sense to enter a new 15-year lease, as consumers are likely to continue curtailing physical visits to the mall. Solzi said that after a profitable but below expectations holiday season, the retail industry will face its second tsunami of store closures across the U.S., only a few years after what he called the fire sale holiday season of 2008. During the recession, the number of shopping center vacancies rose by 5.5% points to 11%, according to ICSC data, and has since recovered only 2.1 percentage points. In addition to JCPenney, which announced last week that it will close 33 stores, there are about a dozen retailers that will have too many stores, Solzi said. Among them, American Eagle, which needs to move some of its Ari lingerie locations into its main stores. Aeropostale, I can't pronounce that right, which is on track to close 175 stores over the next few years, and Walmart, which has about, one of these, there we go, stop the video, this just started. Okay, where was I? Walmart, which has about 100 stores in the U.S. producing same-store sales declines deeper than 3%, Sozi said. As for pennies, Wells Fargo analyst Paul said that its store closures are a step in the right direction. What? Closing stores is a step in the right direction? People losing their jobs is a step in the right direction? But they barely scratch the surface of how many are needed. Interesting. With mall traffic trends very challenging and JCPenney facing its own significant company-specific issues, we do not believe a 1,000-plus store fleet is appropriate. In our view, the company needs to close several hundred stores. Wow. Several hundred stores to operate more efficiently. But that is not easy to accomplish overnight. We're talking about thousands of jobs here. Is the company going out of business? No, they're shifting their business model because of the e-commerce trend. Retailers need a new approach. Hey, did I just say that? That's not to say there aren't a number of young retailers who still have plenty of room to build their store base. Among them, Lululemon and the fashion-forward Michael Kors and Vince brands, which both recently went public. Kors, which increased its store base by nearly 100 stores last year, is on track to open 50 U.S. stores in 2014. I guarantee that's gonna change real quick. In a separate note, LeJeus said that the ideal way for young brands to brand a retail business today is very different than it was 20 years ago. These days, he said, it makes more sense for a retailer to have half the number of stores they once thought appropriate, and instead concentrate on a small store network and e-commerce business. This will take time to accomplish, however, as the vast majority of store locations are leased and not owned, making them harder to unload, he said. There is often a mismatch between the number of stores retailers operate today compared to how many they would choose to operate if they had to do it all over again. But it's not just the number of stores that are shrinking, it's also their size. And David Burnbrae, chairman of Retail Real Estate Advisory Group, the shopping center group, as fewer shoppers buy items at the physical store, retailers don't require the same inventory levels to be kept in an attached storage room. By placing more of their stock in fulfillment centers, they can shrink their stores to cut back on commercial real estate expenses. Although retailer rents are still well below where they were prior to the recession, they have begun to stabilize and are expected to show a slight uptick in 2014, according to CB Richard Ellis. I think stores are typically downsizing right now, and I think they're doing it because they had unsustainable inventory levels, Burnbrae said. Steering clear of traditional malls. One big shift in store closings has come from retailers shying away from indoor malls instead of favoring outlet centers, outdoor malls, or standalone stores. Although new retail construction completions are at an all-time low, according to CB Richard Ellis, the supply of new outlet centers has picked up in recent quarters. There's no question that mall stores are closing quicker than open air as far as department stores, Burnbrae said. Rick Caruso, founder and CEO of Caruso Affiliated, said at the recent National Retail Federation convention that without a major reinvention, traditional malls will soon go extinct. Can you believe that? Traditional malls will soon go extinct, adding that he is unaware of an indoor mall being built since 2006. Anytime you stop building a product, that's usually the best indication that the customer doesn't want it anymore. But retailers aren't throwing in the towel just yet. Turning brick-and-mortar shopping into a retail experience was one of the main topics discussed at the NRF convention this month, with retailers brainstorming ways to integrate targeted mobile couponing and high-tech gadgets to entice shoppers who may have been lost to the web. They're not giving up at all, Burnbrae said, but they sure are changing the way business is being done. Guys, this is not a generation away. This is not a decade away. This is what's taking place right now. All of the owners and CEOs are preparing their companies. They're doing store closing. They're laying off workers because of the trend of e-commerce. There is no recession. There is no lack of money. It is just shifting to a new era, a new area. It's a new river. Are you positioned to take advantage of this greatest economic shift in wealth in history? How does this benefit Shopping Sherlock information like this? Shopping Sherlock is a price comparison web mobile app where anytime people want to shop online, they use the Shopping Sherlock platform and can compare whatever it is they want to buy, prices, and get guaranteed the best price for what they're looking for. So if the trend is people shopping online and we offer a service to help them get the best, cheapest price, what do you think is going to happen to our business? Get off the sideline and get involved. My name is Brandon Ivey, Global Power, Shopping Sherlock.